This is crazy, I'm on the right track, I'm finally found. You need some soul searching, the time is now. All I need is one mic.
You are not getting my family photos. That's all I have left. You're not getting them, period. So I took all the pictures. I loaded up 3 of those gigantic storage tubs, and I couldn't even lift them into the car myself. I had to have somebody help me lift them into the car. I was not giving these photo albums up. You guys could say I'm wrong. I know my brother took a couple of the photo albums because after the week, I had left some of them stacked up on this thing in my mom's office, and when I came back, they were gone. So I knew he had taken a couple already. I took the rest of what was in there, and I felt like I'm not lugging these photo albums back to the house. You want me to get the house emptied, right? But then you want me to bring photo albums back to the house? Sorry, not doing it. I'm not lugging shit back into the house that we're trying to get cleaned out so we can sell it. Just doesn't even make any sense. And again, this was done purely to torture me. I probably would have gave up half my inheritance to keep these photo albums. And so, okay, you send me a list and call it a completed list, which to me would mean that you took everything you wanted to take and the list is completed. I just want to show you guys this list, okay? We're gonna go through this list. Photo albums. So, you're telling me you want photo albums, but the very first item on your list is photo albums. So obviously, you took some of the photo albums. Second, sister's mug. What? Why would my brother want a sister's mug? That's so weird. Carol mug. Okay, sure. Maybe they thought that was something I want. Number 4, that utility wagon. This wagon, I don't know if they're gonna bring it to like Pimp My Ride. They're obsessed with this wagon. I don't know what the fucking attraction to this wagon was. I really don't. I just don't. Post hole digger, weed puller, branch trimmer, leaf blower. So these are all items that my brother's gonna be using as he slaves out in the yard. The drill, 2 pairs of binoculars. Anybody else creeped out by that one? Satan, what the fuck do you need binoculars for, you creepy bitch? I would not be surprised if she's like stalking somebody with those binoculars. Cause this creepy bitch, I just want to tell you guys a quick story about this creepy bitch. She went into like her ex-boyfriend's job and like told the dad that she was getting married to my brother. There was no reason for her to be at this guy's job. She's a creep, just letting you guys know. Roxanne photo. Here's another thing that they took just to piss me off. Being the photographer I am, I worked as a photographer, and photography is my hobby. Like, I love taking pictures. When I was a kid, I discovered my photography talent when I took this beautiful picture of my collie, Roxanne. I set her up in front of all the daylilies and made her lay down, and like, it was all nice, and my mom had it framed, or she put it in a frame. She had it blown up. My brother knows that I took that picture. He knows the whole history with the picture. He took it on purpose just purely to deprive me of it. Do you think that Satan, with her tacky ass pink striped couches, this woman is like the most ugly, bland decorator I've ever seen. Her house is so boring and generic. There's no way that a picture of my old collie is sitting in their house like on display. It's just not. I know it's not. Anyway. Sister's photo. Do you think you want a picture of the bitches that treated my mom like shit? No thanks, you could have that one. 4 serving plates. Toy Story plastic cups. So you guys notice a trend here that they're just like listing things that have no value. I forgot to mention this too. They took a bunch of toys from that toy room, my old bedroom, and those toys were all bought for my son. And they just took them. And ironically, the one thing that they left was my brother's first train set. Wouldn't you think that like if you were picking things that had sentimental value, you would take that? Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just the whole point that I know my brother wasn't the one picking these things. Okay, ready? Incense. Now, okay, this is where shit gets extremely, extremely fucking weird. 2 pairs of yoga socks. Dude, you took my mom's socks. What the fuck are yoga socks? I never even heard of that. You creepy bitch. You took my mom's used socks. You're going to wear my mom's socks. Anybody else find this creepy? That she's going to wear my deceased mother's socks? Yoga socks? I don't even know what those are, but yoga socks? You are so creepy. That, like, seriously sent chills down my spine. Ugh, gross. 2 boxes of Pocono candles, okay? Pocono candles, my mom probably bought them in like 1999. You can have them. A red apple wreath Yankee candle. Now, I happen to know exactly which candle she's talking about because I knew everything in my mom's house pretty much. This was like a halfway burnt down candle that my mom had used like 90% of the candle. Why are you even putting this on here? Come on. Vase from the bathroom. The vase you took, I told you this already, but I just want to reiterate that it's from Diane. She says you're welcome. Star Trek Pez. I don't think my mom had Star Trek Pez. She had Star Wars Pez. I'm telling you guys right now, my brother would never write Star Trek instead of Star Wars, because he knows the difference. Trust me, he's a Star Wars nerd. Cross statue. She's such a holy roller. Butterfly magnet. First of all, my brother, the self-proclaimed agnostic, he took the cross statue, right? And the butterfly magnet, because you know, all men want butterfly magnets. Hanging bird baths. Oh really? My brother wanted a hanging bird bath? Okay. Handing planters. I think she meant hanging planters. But yeah, that was another thing my brother wanted, right? He was like, oh, let me take the planters. Yeah, okay. Watering can fountain. Personal belongings from the attic. Personal belongings from the basement. Old Polaroid camera. The old Polaroid camera that they took that they probably thought they were going to sell for money, that wasn't even my mom's camera. That was actually my mom's boss's camera. He had given my mom a bunch of old cameras to list on eBay for him because my mom used to do eBay, and they took it. So you just stole somebody else's camera. But you wouldn't even know that because you didn't talk to my mom. Anyway. This list is just total bullshit. They took a lot more than this. It's all worthless items. When I showed my attorney, he was like cracking up. He's like, who gives a shit if they took a butterfly magnet or a half burnt down candle? It's insulting, this list. That's what this list is. It's like a giant insult on paper because like nobody gives a shit that you took any of this garbage. Again, my brother, yeah, really? You want butterfly magnets, vases, and yoga socks? Yoga socks! Can somebody please tell me what yoga socks are? I don't even know. But it's so creepy that this girl took my mom's socks. So I wrote back to her, okay? This is all the same day still, okay? I write back to her. Do you even read what you wrote? You told me that you wouldn't take items from the house without notifying me, but you just gave me a list of items you took without notifying me first. I also have you on tape saying that you don't want anything from the house, just your stuff from the attic and the utility wagon. Given the fact that you removed stuff already, and I know your list is incomplete because you started removing items back when you went to the courts and perjured yourself, saying my mom didn't have a will when you in fact knew she did. You want to take me to court when I took a TV and left you another one? That's fine. Keep holding up the estate. You don't get to tell me whether or not I can remove things or not remove things. I'm glad you're going to remember my mom by her yoga socks and decorations in your house. I would have thought you wanted some tools, but I should have known better. Also, that Polaroid camera didn't belong to my mother. It was her boss's camera, just like all the other cameras in my old bedroom. She was listing them on eBay for him. But of course, you wouldn't know that because you hardly talked to her. I'm not fighting you over mugs and yoga socks. You forgot the toilet cleaner and wrapping paper you took. I think we both know exactly why I'm addressing you as someone else. As for the life insurance policy, you make me laugh. There is no way my mom would have ever taken out a life insurance policy, and I wrote lonely, but I meant only, and only put Steven as the beneficiary. No way. If she had a life insurance policy, there would be bank statements showing payments for premiums. The life insurance company magically knew she died and got in contact with you? Sounds fishy. That was another thing. She's like, oh, they contacted me as a beneficiary. That's not how it works. You need to call the life insurance company up and notify them of the person's death. And she wants me to believe yet another lie that, you know, they just like magically knew my mom died and contacted them. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. And just insulting my intelligence. Also, why would you write out a $2,000 check to a doctor when she had health insurance? Did you even investigate that? When they had left all those checks at my mom's house, I'm going through them and I'm like, they were like writing out all these crazy checks to these doctors, and I'm like, she had health insurance and I knew her premiums were paid. So I'm like, did you even like call to see if these claims are valid or get explanation of benefits to see which doctors these are and when they were paid and when her insurance deductible was up? Like, you're just handing $2,000 out like you don't even know if it's a valid claim, asshole. So this is what I get back. Now this all goes on Sunday of Labor Day because this asshole just can't stop. This is the email I get back. You ready for this? Leanna, I do get to tell you whether or not to remove things per the agreement we signed. No, you don't. I do read what I wrote, and I have the phone conversation as well. What I said verbatim was,
Couple of things I might want to take from Mom's house, like reminders. One thing I'd like to take is the utility wagon.
Okay.
If you don't have any objection
But let's
to that.
listen to that again, because she said there's a couple of things I might want to take from Mom's house as reminders. And he said,
A couple of things I might want to take from Mom's house, like reminders.
he said, like reminders, and then he starts telling me that he wants the utility wagon. That kind of changes the context of which it's meant in. Which narcissists like Satan will do to make things fit their narrative. It's so common.
And you agreed, then proceeded to start taking whatever you want. That's what they did. She's projecting on me. That is what they did.
Oh my God, I can't.
The only things I removed from the house prior to being named as executor was not estate property. Oh yeah, okay. And I'll just take your word for that because you've been so honest. It was more my personal belongings and the company my mom worked for, company property that was returned to them. Bullshit, you dumb bitch. You think I don't know what you took from my mom's house? I do. If you're going to continue to just do things without my authorization, then yes, I will go to court without hesitation. Now, you guys ready for this? Ready for this? I will also address the 2 ATM withdrawals you made at the Chase branch located, and she gave the address of the branch in the town I live in, on 11/21 and 11/22, which is on surveillance, each in the amount of $800. To date, this money has not been returned to the estate. This is not only a felony per the detectives at the 6th precinct, but also grounds for your removal as an executor of the estate. This motherfucker, and I found this out, and I won't tell you guys how, but this motherfucker set me up. I want to get this fucking very clear to everybody who's watching this. This motherfucker set my ass up to try to get me arrested. So you're gonna take a mother away from a child, you piece of shit, over money that you fucking told me to take out because you fucking lied to me and told me that her fucking insurance policies were canceled. If you guys remember, the day my mom died and I was forced to go to a funeral home and plan her funeral after not sleeping for 3 days, that day, my brother's wife tells us that my mom's insurance policies were all in default and that they had expired, okay? So she calls my husband up on the phone and tells my husband to tell me to take as much money out as I can for her funeral because all the insurance policies had lapsed. And then magically, after I did so, well, wouldn't you know, the fucking insurance policies were all good. I knew it was a setup when I did it. I was willing to take that risk because I just did not have the money to lay out. And I knew that it was going to bite me in the ass in the end, but I did it anyway. They took advantage, again, of somebody who was in a very vulnerable state at that point in time. And that's a sick motherfucker for you. Ugh, fucking bitch. I hate this fucking girl so much. I have a conversation between me and my brother where he tells me, do what you can with the accounts.
I say to him, we fucked ourselves by rushing this. That's why I wanted to wait a day so we could sit down and figure out what we are going to do. Mommy had enough to cover the funeral in the bank. Mommy fucked us too by not wanting to deal with anything. She had a lawyer drawing up a power of attorney for me and you. Fucking A. She had another account too. Maybe I can pull money out. Max amount from Chase is $800. I'm going back at midnight and try to get another $800. In the meanwhile, I'm going to get her wallet from the house. I think she had an account with M&T and Citi. He writes back to me. He says, okay, power of attorney ends at death, so that wouldn't have helped. It's like, no shit. And listen up here, because listen to what he instructs me to do. Try to do what you can with her accounts as soon as possible so they aren't frozen. So right there, he acknowledges that he knows I was taking this money out of the accounts. We didn't rush. We had to get this started. Otherwise, no one would have taken her from the hospital. And I'm sure that happens all the time because most normal people don't plan funerals the same exact day that somebody dies. And they don't expect the funeral home to come that same day. And I wrote, yeah, but we could have started withdrawing money from accounts days ago before she died. That's what I'm saying. Shit, I'm working on it. Sorry, Steve. Wish she would have talked to us. And I got no answer back for that. He just completely blew it over and that was it. But this right here goes to show that he was well aware of the money and why being taken out of the ATM.
So he knew about it. But now this motherfucker is going to act like I'm committing a felony. They know exactly what that money was spent on. And Satan, once again, underestimated my intelligence because you think I was stupid. I kept every receipt that I spent. Every dollar of that went towards my mom's wake. Piece of shit. And she knew that. But you're going to sit here and act like I stole the money and I'm committing a felony? Fuck you, twat. Anyway, even if I had to, which I didn't have to because all the money went towards the funeral, but even if I had to, I wouldn't have to return the whole amount to the estate account. I would only have to return half because half of it would be mine. But I didn't have to return any of it because it was all spent on her funeral. Piece of shit. The only person holding up the estate is you. You are refusing to list the house until it's empty, which is absurd. You've given your house as an example. Well, here it is from the prior listing on Realtor.com, looking not emptied. This psychopath bitch, okay, went and Googled my house and found some pictures that I never saw where there was furniture in the house. The woman who owned my house died in a car accident on her way to work. This was an estate. When my husband and I found the original listing, it was empty. The house was empty, okay? And we never saw these pictures that she found. Sorry. But listen to what she said, this fucking piece of shit. She's such a piece of shit. She had any chance she could take to put somebody down. So she sends me a link to the pictures where the house had furniture in it. When we saw the pictures originally online, the house was empty. And when we came to see it for the first time, it was empty. But listen to what she follows that up with. Perhaps by the time your husband bought the house, it was empty because it was on the market for so long. But it clearly wasn't when it was first listed. She had to put that little insult that the house was on the market for so long. We don't live in the ritzy neighborhood like that. We live in like the ghetto neighborhood, so our house wasn't as desirable. Yeah, you live in a nice neighborhood right off of a main road and right underneath electric towers on a little shit piece of property. Anyway, speaking of progress on the estate, how are the Affleck claims coming along? Have you contacted the realtor? Any realtor? Have you done anything aside from loot the house? Loot the house. Also known as cleaning it out, you asshole. Oh, I hate this bitch. There is nothing to investigate about the bill. We're executors, not private investigators. Yes, Mom had health insurance, but there are deductibles, covered and uncovered services, co-pays and co-insurance.
As per Access Freedom, her health insurance company, the charge for this date of service on 1 blah 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 was higher due to the fact that she had not yet hit her deductible for that year.
I don't even want to read this part. It's all about her deductible. Okay, here's the important part of this, okay? The bill is legitimate and needs to be paid. These things can't wait until you learn about basic things like opening bank accounts, how health insurance works, how property taxes are paid, how homes are bought and sold, and other things that adults with jobs deal with every day. So now this is the second time this stupid bitch has taken a shot at me for being a stay-at-home mom. And again, this is more narcissistic projection that she's got to, like, you know, make me inferior. Every month that the house is not listed, it costs the estate approximately $1,500 in maintenance. We are approaching a time where we will not be able to sell the house until the weather gets better. That more than wipes out whatever savings you're looking for by arguing balances with creditors. This person who acts like she's, you know, settled 500 estates in her lifetime, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I ended up finding out that one of those medical claims was not valid. So, bow, bitch. So this was all on the same day, because the stupid bitch had nothing better to do on her Labor Day weekend. I know what she's trying to do here. I know she's trying to get me to flip out, go crazy, and start cursing, and just being ignorant. And I wasn't going to let her do that to me, as pissed off as I was. And I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. One of the ways that I dealt with this, because as you guys can see, I mean, any normal person would be really angry. Being gaslit and called unstable, and, you know, being insulted that they're a stay-at-home mom and they don't understand how the real world works because, you know, they just live in a cloud, which I know my brother would not hold against me. What I would do is I would write back the reply I really wanted to send. I would type it out. I would curse my brains out, call her every name in the book, and then I would just leave it in my notes section. And then I would take my time, you know, get that anger and frustration out. And I'm telling you guys, writing is such a good way to deal with things. You might be like, Leanna, you're weird. But it's one of my ways of dealing with anger. I would do that a lot. I mean, if you go in my notes section on my phone, there's like tons of nasty emails that I never actually sent. I would usually end up like editing them down or just completely rewriting them and not making it nasty. And this email that I'm gonna read back to you guys is a perfect example of like how I tried to control myself, because the old Leanna would have flipped out. So I wrote back later that day. Steven, we could go back and forth all day with this stuff. I have kept record of every conversation we have had for the last year and a half. I have a documented conversation between you and my husband and text with you from November 21st, 2016, talking about taking money out of mom's account. If you want to call this precinct and report it as a crime, go ahead. You are only incriminating yourself as an accessory to this crime because you clearly stated you were aware of what was going on. You told both me and my husband that all the insurance policies had lapsed, and for whatever reason, you advised my husband, not me, that we needed to take money from her account. That was all your idea. If you're really that upset about a TV, I will bring that one back and take the den TV. That is fine with me. This is ridiculous already. I'm not worried about candles and socks that you took. If you want to nickel and dime each other over worthless items, it's going to make things take way longer. You could keep trying to accuse me of not doing what I am supposed to be doing as executor, but I have in writing and in a recorded phone call that you told me I could take care of the rest of the house. I am paying my attorney to handle things for the estate for me. Not once has your attorney called my attorney and requested any information. In fact, you told me that your attorney is handling your end of the estate, but clearly that isn't the case. If you want to go to courts, all that is going to happen is you and me are going to be handing $30,000 or more over to the public administrator to take on the estate. I have already discussed this with my attorney because due to past experiences and conversations and the fact that you signed power of attorney over to your wife, I unfortunately knew you weren't going to be able to do this yourself and communication was going to be a problem. Hence the reason my attorney added that stipulation to the stipulation of settlement you signed and agreed to. You clearly are not capable of handling estate business yourself. I cannot make sense of this. You are trying to get the maximum amount of money from the estate, but you are willing to spend $30,000 on a public administrator. In reality, it will be $60,000 or more of our inheritance. If you think the courts are going to entrust you as the sole executor, that will most likely not happen. I have proof of lots of stuff that can also disqualify you. We could cancel each other out and spend $60,000, or we could just act like grown adults and settle the estate as co-executors as Mom would have wanted us to do. This estate already got held up enough by our aunts taking over 2 months to file their petitions, all while letting assets slip away. Then of course my objection, because they were mishandling assets, also held things up a bit. I consult with my attorney prior to doing anything. I was told by my attorney that I can remove items from the house and just keep a list. I am doing exactly that. I am not handing you a list because clearly the house isn't even close to being cleaned out and I don't know what else I am going to want. I will submit my list to my attorney when I am done, and you are more than welcome to have Ms. request it for you. We can negotiate values in the end. There is no rush to give incomplete lists. I am doing exactly what I should be doing. I am meeting with my attorney this week. You are making things a lot more difficult because, as I told you in our phone call on 8/22, I do not believe I am speaking with you. I do not feel comfortable sending private and personal information over email. I have good reason to feel this way, as it is pretty obvious. You create a new email after signing your oath and the stipulation of settlement and inform me that you are only using that email to settle the estate. You refuse to meet with me in person to handle any estate business. You have me blocked on your phone. I have called and texted you several times and clearly you aren't getting my messages nor returning my calls. That, along with other stuff, leads me to conclude that you are not operating the email account. I do not think you are the person receiving the information. If I meet you in person, things would be way easier because then I know it's going to you. This is private and sensitive personal information that I do not feel comfortable sharing with a stranger, and I just know in the way things are being said, it is not you I'm speaking with. In fact, I am 100% certain it's not you. Clearly, you could see by reading all these emails that you are not willing to compromise on many things. I have it all in writing. Let's stop wasting time. I have stated several times that I am willing to meet up and discuss things, that you could call me anytime about anything pertaining to the estate. Let's stop arguing about all this nonsense about who's doing what and who took what. All we are doing is wasting time and money. The lack of communication and refusal to communicate is what's holding things up. I am open and willing to communicate about the estate. Why did you sign the papers to be co-executive with me if you are not willing to communicate, compromise, and can only handle things on your lunch break? You could keep threatening me with court, but in the end, the outcome is going to be the same. The will clearly states that everything must be divided 50-50. Getting one another removed isn't going to change that. Let's put all the BS and personal feelings aside from here on out and just do what we have to do. I am willing to communicate with you. Please, let's stop this. So you guys could see, as pissed off as I was, I somehow was, you know, able to assert myself, but also trying to be compromising, and thank God for the people in my life. I just have to say that. My husband, my friends, my cousin Ego, that, you know, really like brought me down to earth and helped me through this, because I don't think I would have got through it without them. So this is what I got in return. Leanna, I don't know what else to get you to believe that you're speaking with me. We had 3 birds, Squeaky, BJ, and Herbie. Your 3rd grade teacher was Mr. It's bordering on paranoia at this point. So now, I'm being called paranoid, unstable, being insulted, and you're offering up some stupid facts about my life to prove that it's you talking to me as if my brother couldn't have told you that. Really, Satan? Do you think anybody's that stupid? I really feel bad for the people in your life. I really do. I really, really do. Yes, my wife and I have power of attorney for each other, as most trusting married couples do, as part of estate planning. So let me just get this straight. You guys just happen to be estate planning the day that we found out my mom was dying, and you were doing it in the hospital because that's where you had your power of attorney notarized? No. Sorry, honey. Check the documents you took from the safe. You'll see that mom and dad also had power of attorney for each other. You know what's so funny? I removed the power of attorney documents and my mom's will, if you guys remember, before my mom passed away. So this stupid bitch just admitted that she was in my mom's safe prior to her passing away. Dumbass. You're being extremely generous by saying your objections held up the state a bit. This is after I just wrote an email. I just want to remind you, saying, hey, let's just stop with all this like technical little bullshit nonsense, like he said, she said shit. And this is what I get in response. I signed my waiver and consent in January. If you had signed yours, then the estate would probably already be finalized. Instead, it's 8 months later and we're just starting. No reason to even put that in there. No reason. Just to be an asshole. You guys ready for this? Your brains are just gonna be like, "Blah," and just hop out of your head. Your cranium is gonna open like a categories box and just So she complained about the TV, but here we go. The TV is not the point. You got all salty that I took my mom's bedroom TV that you didn't even know was not your TV. And so I said, okay, I'll offer compromise. I'll bring that TV back and I'll take the one in the den. That was my compromise, okay? Because that's what normal people do. They compromise, okay? I'm trying to just shut you the fuck up, really, but I was compromising. This is what you have to say about that. The TV is not the point. So if the TV is not the point, why'd you make a big deal about it? You took things from the hospital and stuff from the house that a value cannot be placed on, like photo albums and mom and dad's wedding and engagement rings. Return them to the house, especially dad's wedding ring, as I want that. Put it in an envelope with my signed reimbursement check. I will absolutely go to court to get it. So once again, I think this is like the 3rd time I'm being threatened with court. No, 4th time. Sorry, 4th time. And mom and dad's engagement rings. First of all, my dad, why would my dad have an engagement ring? Second of all, if you knew anything about my mom, which clearly you don't. My mom lost the diamond in her engagement ring like 20 years ago at Kmart, where she worked. My mom didn't have an engagement ring. Yes, I took my mom's wedding band, and I also took the ring that was around her neck in the casket because you guys left her funeral early, so what'd you want me to do with it? Of course I took it home. And same goes for the stuff in the hospital. Remember the empty baby stroller story where you guys just rolled out of the hospital and didn't even offer to help carry my mom's belongings down? Yeah, I did take the shit from the hospital. What'd you want me to do with it? I mean, now you're gonna complain about it. You could have taken it, you could have helped me, but now you're gonna complain about it because it gives you something to argue about. So why wouldn't you do it? I mean, this right here, this is the start of this bullshit. You guys are gonna see, it's just crazy. I don't know how my brother is married to this woman. I really do feel sorry for him that he married a person like this. I'm more than capable of handling estate business. I'm the only one of us who actually has been doing so. My attorney has been trying to reach your attorney for over a week to get the information you say he has. Your attorney has not returned any calls. When you meet your attorney, ask him to respond to mine. I have my attorney's cell phone number and he thinks your attorney is on vacation due to his unresponsiveness. Well, hello, genius. It's Labor Day. Yeah, my attorney was on vacation. A lot of people are during Labor Day weekend. So then here we go. I do not know what else there is us to discuss in person. I said in email numerous times what needs to be done. Your replies never address them. Hello, projection. Number 1. Call the real estate agent and let's get the house listed. We could be in contract to sell as early as next week due to demand. Number 2. Send out checks that I signed and left at mom's house. I literally could not have made it easier for you. Number 3. Complete the paperwork at Fidelity in Wilmington so those funds can be transferred to B&B. Number 4. Return all the contents of the safe and put the combination back where it was. Fuck you. I took everything out of the safe. It's all paperwork. You really need the paperwork? You guys removed every other piece of paperwork from the house, but I took this paperwork from the safe, and that's a fucking problem. And some of my mom's gold jewelry that you're not getting, fuck you. Ready? Deposit the $1,600 to B&B. You say I'm an accomplice, yet I don't recall getting a dime of that money. Well, you don't recall because it was spent on food that you shoved in your fat ass face, you bitch. We need to move on getting the CO for the porch. This may include hiring an expediter. My attorney, who was on the zoning board for the town that my mom lived in, he's like, we'll wait and see what the real estate agent says. I don't know why they're making such a big deal out of this CO. It's not that big of a deal. Finish the Affleck claims. I'm not interested in going back and forth. We don't need to meet in person to do any of these things. We've already discussed them over the phone and email. Start doing them. I'm done playing games. This is a person who is just... The need for control is disgusting. She's a monster. This is not a normal human being. I hate this fucking asshole. I really do. God, I forgot. You know, I'm going back through this and I'm like, holy shit. I really forgot how bad things got. So, I did not answer that email after that. I was completely fed up. I had my proof that I was not talking to my brother. That was it. I waited for my attorney to get back and I went in and I told him I had it. I can't do this anymore with my brother. I just cannot fucking do this. And I showed him my proof. And I'm gonna leave that one here.